As the hundreds of Yu Fang family members began to madly flee, the leader of the 13 Axes' blood-red eyes gleamed with killing intent. He communicated mentally, "Kill them all, don't leave a single one alive." Haha, understood. They can't escape. 9th brother, 13th brother, it's up to you. Of the 13 Axes, including the leader, 11 of them quickly turned into afterimages, chasing after the stronger members of the Yu Fang family. There were also 2 men dressed in black armor who laughed savagely as they extended their hands. Instantly, a blur of lights shot out in all directions. Luo Feng was able to control 10 throwing knives with his full strength when he was at the student level 9, now if he didn't pursue power, instantly controlling thousands of little golden knives wasn't hard. Of course, if he pursued power he could only control 10. These 2-star level pinnacle warriors, each immediately released over 100 small and extremely thin flying axes, about half the size of a palm, 1 millimeter thick. Densely packed flying axes and concealed weapons covered the sky and covered the earth as they shot out violently in all directions. Ah. No. Quickly. The large number of fighters that were fleeing immediately went into a frenzy, as their comrades around them were either beheaded by the flying axes, or pierced through the forehead, fresh blood splattered, skulls flying everywhere. In an instant, the entire canyon was dyed red, a nightmarish scene descended. This large group of Earth levels, Star Traveler, were simply slaughtered. In just a few seconds. Within the entire canyon, there weren't more than 20 people from the Yu Fang family left alive. My God. The black-bearded old man sat paralyzed on the ground, his face covered in blood from the others, his eyes staring wide open. Chi. A small flying axe that was as thin as a cicada's wing, left a blinding flash in mid-air, after which it sliced through the black-bearded old man's head, like slicing through tofu. No. Not here. This old punk has a space bracelet on him, however, it doesn't have the armor we need. The 2 from the 13 Axe who knew how to control their weapons swiftly inspected the important corpses, only finding a space item, and that space bracelet didn't have the items they needed. The majority of the people fleeing back, those 10 have all escaped the canyon. Relax, big brother, and the rest have already chased over. Chase over. Whoosh. The 2 of them turned into streaks of light and chased after him. On the wide road, more than 10 people were fleeing in panic. Quick. The group of people's faces were filled with terror, especially the tall and handsome young man in the middle, young Master Yu Fang. His face was ashen and he was extremely anxious. He transmitted his voice and shouted anxiously, third uncle, bring me along and escape, bring me along and escape." However, third uncle Yu Yenta, who was the strongest in the group, had already escaped far away and did not care about him at all. "Haha, you still want to escape?" In the distance, a golden-armored demon god broke through the air, and his laughter echoed in the ears of the dozen people who were running away. Behind the golden silhouette, there were other figures flying over at high speed. Go to hell. The gold-armored demon god's silhouette immediately dove down. At the same time, the wild cloud level, universe level, genetic energy fiercely shot out in all directions with him as the center. Immediately, everything within a few hundred meters exploded. The universe-level genetic energy contained a terrifying force that instantly blasted the surroundings into ruins. At the same time, screams, shouts and screams rang out. No, no, no. Yu Fang screamed in fear, but his body seemed to have been hit by countless hidden weapons, and in an instant he was riddled with holes. Even his head had a few pebbles pierced through it, and he exploded into a pile of mush. Young Master Yu Fang died. Nako. Before he died, Yu Fang's eyes stared wide open. He wished so much to be able to rush to Nako's team, at least there was a chance of survival. However, his speed was too slow. Yu Fang's team only had one person left who was still fleeing. That was one of the 3 strongest warriors of the Yu family, the pinnacle sky level, dripping blood blade, Yu Yenta. Even within the 13 Axe he would be ranked 4th or 5th. From the start he had swiftly flown back the way he came, using his fastest speed. He didn't care about Yu Fang. Because he knew, if that armor was gone the Yu family in the main city would be finished. I shouldn't have agreed back then. The treasures within the ancient god ruins are something our Yu family can touch? Hate that we were too greedy. Yu Yenta, who was flying swiftly, felt pained. Back then when the Yu family saw the huge benefits of success, their greed surpassed their fear, causing them to take a gamble. Yes, this was a gamble. Haha, dripping blood blade, you still want to flee? A voice resounded in Yu Yenta's ears. Yu Yenta turned to look. In the distance a gold silhouette was breaking through the skies, causing Yu Yenta's expression to turn even uglier. Of the 13 Axe, the eldest, 3rd and 7th were the ones he didn't want to meet the most. Because these 3 were all cloud level, universe level, he had enough confidence in the other 10. Yu Yenta furiously sped up, staring into the distance. Suddenly a team of 10 appeared. Amongst them was the familiar silver-armored youth Nako. This caused Yu Yenta's eyes to gleam with hope, his face flushed red, shouting with all his might, "Young Master Nako, save me." Luo Feng and the others were close to 200 kilometers away from the Yu Fang family team, however Yu Yenta was after all a pinnacle star level. Even though the gravity of Blood River World was so strong that even star travelers couldn't fly, Yu Yenta's speed could still reach 1.8 kilometers per second. If there was no gravity in the universe, a pinnacle star level speed was about 150 kilometers per second. Blood River World's gravity was shocking. Yu Yenta's speed was 8 kilometers per second. Close to 200 kilometers, that took him tens of seconds to fly. Tens of seconds. The rest of the Yu family's huge team were all swept away. Young Master Naku, save me. The roar infused with genetic energy immediately resounded throughout the land and skies, causing Luo Feng and Naku, who were rushing to be stunned, and looked up. In the distance there were two silhouettes, one in front and one behind, swiftly flying towards the team. Especially the golden silhouette at the back, that huge energy emanated from him. It's Yu Yenta. Behind him is the leader of the 13 Acts. The tall and sturdy Thunder Uncle could tell with a glance, revealing a look of fear, communicating, hence listen up, don't ever mess with the leader of the 13 Acts. Young Master Naku, don't ever help Yu Yenta. We won't be able to help, instead we'll lose our lives. Naku's expression was pale. The leader of the 13 Acts? Within the tens of millions of km of Swallow Mound territory, this was definitely a powerful figure that everyone respected. Save me. The skinny man Yu Yenta's face was filled with panic and fear, swiftly flying towards Naku's team. Naku's team, however, just stood there without moving, obviously not wanting to interfere. Rumble. A terrifying energy rippled over from behind. Not good. Yu Yenta looked behind him, only to see the demon god figure shrouded in golden battle armor holding an axe. He had already swung it, directly chopping towards him. The huge axe blade formed a high-pressure shockwave, visible to the naked eye, rippled towards him. This caused Yu Yenta's eyes to turn red, desperately waving the blade in his hand. Dang. Yu Yenta's entire body was smashed into the ground, his entire body's bones shattered. Aye. Yu Yenta stared wide-eyed, blood seeping from the corner of his mouth, following which his head drooped, no longer breathing. Rumble. In the distance, another two silhouettes landed one after the other. Big brother, have you found the item? The two tall and sturdy men shouted. It should be on him. The leader looked at Yu Yenta's corpse on the ground, before grabbing Yu Yenta's bracer and turning back to look at his brothers. Third brother, seventh brother, this is a spatial bracer. The eyes of the two who had just finished a massacre lit up. Luo Feng and Naku's team stood there, not daring to advance or flee. Just like what the information says, Blood River world respects strength, killing can be seen everywhere. Even a high-position punk died just like that. Luo Feng glanced at the distant corpse of Yu Yenta, shaking his head. At this time, silhouettes continuously descended from mid-air. The 13 Acts have all arrived. The tall and sturdy Thunder Uncle's eyes were filled with shock. 13 Acts, the legendary 13 Acts. The silver-armored youth Naku's eyes were filled with excitement and nervousness. These were all legendary warriors. Killing the Yu Fang family's team was simply like killing chickens. These were true warriors. True absolute warriors. Not far away, the leader of the 13 Acts frowned. How can there be none? What, none? Big brother, there's no armor in the space arm guard? Have you checked the others? The leader looked at the other brothers. The other 12 all replied, no, we've checked, only one of them had a space item, and that item doesn't have the armor we want. That blood-dripping blade was asking them for help. The gold-armored leader's blood-red eyes looked at the distant Naku's group, causing the guards under Naku to immediately panic. The leader frowned. They could very well be the same group as the Yu family, just that they're split into two groups. Big brother, just kill them and look again. What's the point of thinking so much? The leader nodded. Kill them. To the 13 Acts, killing a few rich family teams within Swallow Mound territory was simply as easy as stepping on ants. In Blood River continent, it didn't matter if you were right or not, as long as your fist was bigger, you were right. We have nothing to do with the Yu family, don't kill us. Spare us. Including the tall and sturdy Thunder Uncle, the group of guards all revealed expressions of fear. Even the simple youth Naku, who was filled with fighting spirit, had a look of panic on his face. So troublesome. Luo Feng shook his head. This group still has 3 universe levels. Just using consciousness pressure alone won't be enough. I'll have to personally make a move. Looks like the information was right. There are many times in Blood River world where we have no choice but to kill. The 13 Acts that were originally looking coldly at Naku's group, one of them was about to use his weapon to attack. However, at this time, the 13 of them simultaneously revealed expressions of fear, because in an instant, a silhouette appeared before the 13 of them, a black-haired youth dressed in black armor. 13 images simultaneously appeared before the 13 of them. How can that be? Including the leader of the 13 Acts who was high above, the 13 of them all stared wide-eyed in shock. Because the enemy's appearance was simply too fast and unpredictable, it was almost like he teleported. However, amidst the shock, they all desperately wanted to use their weapons. 13 images, 13 Luo Fengs. Luo Feng's eyes were cold, his gaze like a blade. The 13 images all stared at the 13 Acts members. The blade lights flashed. The 13 blade lights were so beautiful it could break one's heart, infused with an endless amount of hatred. Naku, Thunder Uncle and the group watching from the side, including the 13 Acts who were being attacked, couldn't help but be affected by the concept of the blade. Their consciousness was drawn in by the blade. The 13 blade lights were like precise scalpels that followed the gaps of the helmets, directly entering the helmets and retracting. The continuous 13 blade lights flashed and disappeared. The images had already vanished. Luo Feng stood there, sheathing the blood shadow blade on his back. Silence. The 13 warriors stood there, not moving at all. And the simple youth Naku, Thunder Uncle and the group of guards were completely immersed in the concept from before, unable to pull themselves out. Luo Feng couldn't help but turn to glance at them, his consciousness pressuring slightly, causing these completely immersed punks to immediately wake up, one by one realizing what had happened. Why are the 13 acts standing there not moving? I wasn't seeing things before, I just saw. A guard said stunned. Shut up. The tall and sturdy Thunder Uncle roared. The guard was immediately shocked awake. Dead, the 13 acts are dead. The tall and sturdy Thunder Uncle transmitted his voice. Don't you see the faint traces of blood in the gaps between the helmets and armors of the 13 pairs? Moreover, you guys can be considered to have some strength. Don't you see that the 13 axes have no aura at all? It's true, it's the blood stains. I can't feel any energy at all. My god, I didn't see wrongly right. That idiot Feng. No, that black armored warrior casually attacked and simultaneously killed the 13 of them, and the 13 acts didn't even have time to retaliate? I just saw 13 black armored experts attacking at the same time. That saber light was really mesmerizing. The group of guards were completely subdued. Blood River World, what they worshipped was strength. Furthermore, this kind of enchanting saber technique was even more shocking. I'm so stupid, so stupid. The tall and sturdy Thunder Uncle's body trembled slightly. The first time I saw this expert, he wasn't looking at the Mangu Beast stupidly, he didn't even see the Mangu Beast as an opponent. Even 3 Cloud level 13 acts were instantly killed before they could even retaliate. Do we even need to talk about the Mangu Beast? That group of bastards said that he was stupid. We are the ones who are stupid. That's right. Previously, when Yu Fang led his troops to humiliate young master, they all ran away in fright. It must have been this expert who helped them. To be able to scare someone like Dripping Blood Blade into fleeing with his tail between his legs without making a sound, this is what you call an expert, a super expert. The silver-armored youth Naka looked at Luo Feng with a gaze of passion and madness. An expert, a true expert, a super expert. Naka muttered, the 13 acts killing a warrior like Dripping Blood Blade Yu Yenta was easily done. He's a legendary warrior. However, Big Brother Feng actually made a move that the 13 acts didn't even have time to retaliate. Even after they were killed, they still stood there without moving, almost like they didn't even move. What kind of strength is this? Young master, this is a true absolute warrior. That kind of low-profile warrior who trains hard. Thunder Uncle's face was filled with excitement, communicating. He has a good impression of you. You should hurry and get closer to him. To be able to be on good terms with such an absolute warrior, it's better than anything else for our Na family. Don't argue. Naka couldn't care less about his family's mess, he was only filled with excitement. The excitement of meeting a legendary idol. Naka was nervous, however he gritted his teeth and walked towards Luo Feng. After Luo Feng killed the 13 acts, he couldn't be bothered with the guard's stupidity. His spirit energy spread across the 13 acts and Yu Yenta's corpse. These 13 acts are indeed rich, every one of them actually has a storage item. Luo Feng's spirit energy scanned and confirmed. Following which, under the control of his spirit energy, be it the storage bracelet, wrist guard, arm guard or belt, they all separated from the 13 axe corpses and were kept into his space ring. Let's check and see what's inside. Luo Feng flipped his hand and took out a space bracelet. His spirit energy seeped in and began to check. Feng, Big Brother Feng. An excited and nervous voice resounded. Luo Feng turned and saw the red-faced silver-armored youth Naku, his eyes filled with excitement and nervousness. At this time Naku took a deep breath, his eyes filled with worship and excitement. Big Brother Feng, are you one of those legendary low-profile tough trainers that constantly roams the continent? Tough trainers? Luo Feng was slightly stunned, after which he nodded and smiled. I guess so. Ah. Naku was extremely excited. I heard that the tough trainers are all very low-profile and powerful. From one world to another, constantly roaming. Their knowledge is vast and they've been to many mysterious places. Like the Blood Demon Ocean, Forbidden Mountain Range, Ancient God Ruins etc. Have you been there before? Luo Feng was shocked. The youth before him looked at him with a gaze of worship and longing, asking him where he had been. However, what kind of places were those? He had been to the Dark Universe, the Primal Universe, Primal Chaos City, the World Within a World, the Absolute Beginning Region and even the Virtual Universe Company's headquarters. However, the Blood Demon Ocean, Forbidden Mountain Range and Ancient God Ruins of Blood River World, he had never even heard of them. Never been. Luo Feng smiled and shook his head. Maybe I'll have the chance in the future. Naku said excitedly, I heard that the Blood Demon Ocean is 800 worlds away from us. Even the city leader of a world city would take a very long time to get there. Luo Feng was shocked within. The distance wasn't far, however Blood River World didn't have any technological ships, one could only rely on flying. Plus the gravity was huge. 800 worlds away? The aboriginals of Blood River continent referred to a world city's area. Every world city's area had a diameter of a few 100 million km, over 1 billion km. Such an area, even if one traveled 100,000 kilometers in a day, it would still take 10,000 days to travel through a world. 800 worlds. How many years would that take? Luo Feng and Naku's team walked towards the distant vast Swallow Mound City, simultaneously checking the items left behind by the 13 acts. With this check, Luo Feng was pleasantly surprised. There's actually so much currency, these 13 acts are really rich. With this money, it'll be much more convenient for me. Luo Feng wasn't happy about the money. What he was truly excited about was, There's actually so many books, mainly training techniques and techniques. There's also a portion of general knowledge and encyclopedias that one needs to know about roaming the continent. These techniques and techniques, Luo Feng didn't even care about them. After seeing the thousands of techniques in the time-space scribbles, any technique Luo Feng could casually create would be better than these. One had to say. Blood River World's training compared to the Holy Land Primal Chaos City was on a completely different level. General knowledge, encyclopedias and encyclopedias. Luo Feng casually took out a book. The pages of the book were made from a soft and tough material. On the cover of the book were 3 words, Blood River Crystal. Before, I was still worrying about not knowing anything about the crystal. Now I have a book that introduces it in detail. Luo Feng was very happy. The money and techniques didn't mean much to him. As he rushed, he used his spirit energy to scan the book and swiftly read through it, understanding the details of the crystal. Blood River Crystal, the treasure of the entire continent. It had an incomparably mysterious power. It was a treasure bestowed by the god spirits to the continent. Only the high and mighty Undying Shrine would occasionally give out a crystal to the world cities. Other than the high and mighty Undying Palaces. No power, no one could create Blood River crystals. No one even knew where they came from or how they were created. The crystal could be absorbed into a person's body, producing an incomparably mysterious effect. As for where it was mysterious, these books only had various guesses, no one really knew how mysterious the effects were. However, not everyone could absorb the crystal into their body. This had a very high requirement for a warrior. Under normal circumstances, the more one killed, the easier it was for them to absorb a crystal. Absorbing the Blood River crystal was something every fighter in the vast continent yearned for. The crystal was too precious, too rare and too rare. In the vast continent, the Undying Shrine had set a rule. Domain level, domain lord, warriors had to absorb 1 crystal before they had the right to lead a territory. Otherwise normal domain level warriors wouldn't have the right to be a leader. World level, sector lord, warriors had to absorb 1 crystal before they had the right to lead a world city. Blood River crystals were rare and precious. Absorbing them was extremely difficult. Absorbing 1 was already difficult. Absorbing 2 would raise the body's requirements by 10 times. Absorbing 3 would raise the body's requirements by 100 times. The further one went, the harsher the requirements would be. There was a legend on the continent. A martial artist, after absorbing 3 crystals, would gain an incomparably mysterious power. Such a martial artist would be called a blood warrior. Blood warriors could go to any world city to receive a Blood River medal. Every one of them was the pride of the continent. A warrior who absorbed 10 crystals, such a warrior would be called a black warrior and could go to the Undying Shrine to get a precious black Blood River medal. Blood warrior was a legend, only one would be born in countless years. Black warrior? That was purely a legend. No one even knew when a black warrior had been born. Maybe there hadn't been a black warrior in trillions of years. So it's like that. Luo Feng closed the book. He was filled with glee within. No wonder the reward for the Blood Warrior title is 100,000 points. And the reward for a single crystal mission is only 10,000 points. The difference in difficulty between the two is too huge. Looking up. In front of him was the ancient city gate that was hundreds of meters tall. Swallow Mound City he had arrived. As the center of tens of millions of km, this main city Swallow Mound City's walls were about 300 m tall. It was continuous and one couldn't see the end of it, almost like an endless black mountain range. And the city gate of Swallow Mound was close to 100 m wide and 200 m tall. A group of intrepid soldiers dressed in scale armor were collecting the entrance fee. Quickly pay up. You want to go in without money, you're looking to die. This group of intrepid soldiers were wielding large blades or huge axes, shouting and yelling from time to time. Luo Feng looked over and was shocked that the aboriginals of Blood River World were indeed very strong. Even these guards were all Star Traveler level 5 and above. If placed on Earth, any one of these soldiers would be considered a demon god level being. Of course in Blood River World they were just normal soldiers. Young Master Naku is back. Why aren't you moving? Let young Master Naku enter the city. The intrepid soldiers were extremely passionate, not even collecting the entrance fee before letting Naku's team in. However, Thunder Uncle still smiled and threw out a black blade coin, for our brothers to drink. The leading soldier received it with familiarity, becoming even more passionate. Wine could be made from fruits or grains. In the universe, there were tens of millions of drinks that could be called wine. I wonder what the wine of Blood River World tastes like. Luo Feng revealed a smile. After entering the city, Naku said passionately, Big Brother Feng, I'm very familiar with this city. You can stay at my house, later I'll bring you around the city. Even though this main city is huge, there's really no place I don't know. Right, Lord Feng? Beside, Thunder Uncle was all smiles. The group of guards behind all looked expectantly at Luo Feng, not daring to make a sound. To be able to instantly kill the 13 axe. What kind of person was that? In the entire Swallow Mound City, there were indeed many powers that could kill the 13 axe. However, for one person to be able to instantly kill the 13 axe, such an absolute warrior was definitely rare. No need, let's part ways here. Luo Feng said. After looking at the information on the Blood River crystal earlier, he already had a plan on how to complete the mission. Luo Feng didn't want to get too involved with the Na family. After all, the moment he stayed there would probably be many troublesome matters. Part ways. Naku was startled. Thunder Uncle's face showed a hint of anxiousness. He thought, Such a powerful warrior he left just like that? Naku nodded, looking at Luo Feng. Big brother Feng, you are in the city. If I want to see you, can I? Luo Feng looked at the silver-armored youth before him, smiling. Where's the best place to stay in Swallowmound City? Flying Cloud Pavilion, the silver-armored youth said. If you want to find me, then go to Flying Cloud Pavilion. Luo Feng smiled. And Naku nodded. After which Luo Feng turned his head and followed the endless streets into the distance. His silhouette blurred, and in an instant he was already far away. Naku, Thunder Uncle, as well as the group of guards looked at the black-armored, mysterious warrior with a blade and shield on his back. Thunder Uncle said in a low voice, "This is the strongest warrior I've ever met in my life. Let's go, young master. Let's go back." The burly man, Uncle Lei, said in a low voice, "It's best to tell master about this Lord Feng. Especially the matter of the Yu family. I feel that it is not a small matter. Let's go back." Naku brought the guards and swiftly returned home. Swallowmound City was simply too huge. With an area of 1,000 kilometers, Naku and the others spent close to an hour to reach home. Na family was a business family with some status in Swallowmound City. As Swallowmound territory had an area of tens of millions of km, Earth's diameter was only 10,000 kilometers. Such a huge territory caused the population of Swallowmound to be uncountable. The different families and powers were like the fish and prawns in the ocean. Na family, Yu family were considered middle-tier families. An organization like the 13 Axe was considered a higher-tier power. Within the Na family mansion, dressed in a black robe, the silver-haired man's expression froze, shocked as he listened to his son Naku and Thunder Uncle's description. Extremely powerful, Dad, you didn't see it. The leader of the 13 Axe killed Yu Yenta like he was slaughtering livestock, one axe strike and he died. However, the 13 Axe didn't even have the strength to retaliate against Big Brother Feng. We only saw 13 silhouettes and 13 blade flashes. The 13 Axe didn't even have time to retaliate before they all died. Yes, master, what the young master said is true. How is that possible? The silver-haired middle-aged man Nabu completely calmed down after a while. To be able to build up the Na family, his thoughts were extremely meticulous. This is an expert, a super expert. Nabu looked solemnly at his son. Where is he? After entering the city, he separated from us. I invited him to our house, but he didn't agree. But he said if we wanted to see him, we could go to Flying Cloud Pavilion. Naku said, his eyes gleaming. Dad, let's go to Flying Cloud Pavilion. No. Nabu frowned and said softly, this super expert left after entering the city. Obviously he didn't want to get too involved with us. Tell me the details of how you met him and how you separated. Tell me everything. Yes. Naku immediately began to describe. The more he listened, the more relaxed Nabu's face became. Finally he smiled. Dad. Naku looked at his father. Haha, Cuckoo, you're lucky. Nabu laughed. From your description, this mysterious expert Feng doesn't like to kill easily. If he can avoid killing, he'll be too lazy to kill. And he doesn't like to get too involved with others. However, he should have a good impression of you. Otherwise he wouldn't have agreed to let you meet him. Naku said excitedly, then now we... No. Nabu shook his head. You just separated. If we rush over now, even if he meets you, he won't be happy. No rush, we'll wait until tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll go meet this Feng. Alright, Lei Dong, accompany the young master back. Yes. The tall and sturdy Thunder Uncle brought Naku and left. Only Nabu was left in the room. The silver-haired Nabu's eyes gleamed like a fox, saying softly, Feng? Yu family? Just what did the Yu family do to actually provoke the 13 Axe to kill them? Within Swallowmound City, Luo Feng wasn't in a rush to find a place to stay. Instead, he strolled around the city, casually going to some places to eat and drink. Listening to the conversations of the customers around, he knew more about Swallowmound City. Blood River continent didn't have a sun or moon. However, because of the movement of the 18 cloud layers, it caused the entire continent to be bright and dark at times. One bright and one dark meant one day. A day on Blood River continent was about 7 days on Earth. Swallowmound City, Flying Cloud Pavilion. One of the most luxurious lodgings. It took up an area of over 10 kilometers, much bigger than some of Earth's county cities. The scenery within was beautiful, and it could accommodate up to 500,000 guests. Every day there was an endless stream of people coming and going. Swallowmound territory had a large amount of people entering the city, causing the business here to be extremely good. Within the guest building of Flying Cloud Pavilion, there were a few hundred receptionists. Lodgings. Luo Feng looked at a small lady dressed in a black fur coat and said, we have earth, sky and cloud levels. I wonder which level you'd like to stay in? As for the price, it's hung on the wall. The small lady dressed in fur smiled. Cloud level. Luo Feng said indifferently. Cloud level number 892, daily lodging is 3 large coins. The lady smiled. Luo Feng casually took out a purple blade coin and threw it on the table. The lady immediately picked it up and began to register Luo Feng. The coins of Blood River World were all shaped like blade coins. They were split into small blade coins, red small coins, medium blade coins, black medium coins, large blade coins, green large coins, and above them there was the most valuable purple blade coins, treasure coins. One medium coin was worth 1,000 small coins. One large coin was worth 1,000 medium coins. One treasure coin was worth 1,000 large coins. This was the most luxurious Flying Cloud Pavilion. The most luxurious lodgings were the cloud level. A day's lodging required 3 large coins, which was equivalent to 3 million small coins. It wasn't something normal people could afford. And Luo Feng had killed the 13 acts, and acquired their entire fortune. That was much more than the Na and Yu family's entire fortune. Naturally he didn't care about the lodgings at all. Lord, this way. A handsome youth dressed in servant attire respectfully led the way. What appeared in front of Luo Feng was a quiet 3-story building with a garden and a pond. On the stone sign outside the courtyard of this building were the words Yun 892. Not bad. Luo Feng looked at it carefully and nodded satisfactorily. After which he sat in the living room chair and looked at the servant before him. Lord, whatever orders you have, please speak. During the days you're staying in our flying cloud pavilion, I'll serve you. The youth said respectfully. This is my first time coming to Swallow Mound City. Tell me, what special places are there in Swallow Mound City? What important people are there? Luo Feng casually took out a jade green crystal blade coin. Tell me clearly. If I'm satisfied, I'll reward you. The servant looked at the jade green blade coin and his eyes gleamed. I've lived in Swallow Mound City for over 200 years. I've stayed in the Flying Cloud Pavilion for close to 100 years. I've heard a lot. The servant immediately began to talk incessantly and excitedly, talking about all the famous places in Swallow Mound City. He talked for a total of over 2 hours before finishing. In the middle of it, the servant didn't even take a sip of water or stop. Luo Feng nodded as he listened. Very good, what you said is very good. Luo Feng's voice seemed to have some sort of magical power, causing the servant's eyes to lose their spirit. This is my reward for you. Leave. The jade green blade coin flew and landed in the servant's hands. Only then did the servant wake up. In his mind, he had completely forgotten about Luo Feng's questions from before. One had to know Luo Feng could even use the slave soul imprint. To a star traveler punk, something like hypnosis was simply too easy. Thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord. The servant excitedly took the blade coin and left. Luo Feng closed his eyes. In his mind, everything the servant had described appeared. His understanding of Swallow Mound City grew even clearer. Pure feather family? Looks like, if there are blood river crystals, this pure feather family has the highest possibility of having them. Luo Feng muttered. The servant's description was very detailed. There were many families, organizations and sects within Swallow Mound territory. These powers were split into different levels. They could be categorized as super, upper, middle and lower. The Na family and Yu family were considered middle-level powers, while the 13 acts were considered upper-level powers. Within the entire Swallow Mound territory, there were still 3 superpowers. They were the Rock Wind family, Pure Feather family and the Tiger Thunder clan. The Tiger Thunder clan was a barbaric human race. The Rock Wind family was the city leader's family and the Pure Feather family was the #1 merchant family. Blood river crystals are incomparably precious. These 3 superpowers have the highest possibility of having them. Luo Feng sat there tapping on the armrest. The highest possibility is undoubtedly the city leader, the Rock Wind family. The second would be the Pure Feather family. As for the Tiger Thunder clan, it's simply too far away. There's no need to rush over. A domain-level domain lord had to absorb 1 blood river crystal to gain the recognition of the Undying Shrine, gaining the right to be the city leader. That city leader had definitely absorbed 1 crystal before, and he was the most powerful within the territory. The chances of him acquiring a second crystal was undoubtedly the highest. If he was the city leader and absorbed 1 crystal, he would definitely want to get a second to see if he could absorb it again. However, he's a domain lord. And I'm only universe level 9. Of course. My domain is level 9 and I'm proficient in the space and gold origin laws. I have confidence in killing a normal domain lord level 2 or 3. The only thing I'm afraid of is, he's a domain lord level 7 or 8. Luo Feng shook his head. Before understanding the other party's background, it was best not to mess with the city leader. To be able to control Swallow Mound territory, that leader was definitely not to be messed with. Target, Pure Feather family, leader. Luo Feng squinted, cold light gleaming. The plan was set. However, the Pure Feather family was a tyrant within Swallow Mound territory, second only to the city leader. They had many cloud-level, universe-level, warriors. It was even said that there was a domain-level, domain lord, old punk training there. However, the fact that there was a domain lord was only hearsay by the servant, there was no way to confirm it. The second morning. Luo Feng's spirit energy faintly connected to the universe space ripples. Through the ripples he could feel the energies within 10 kilometers. HM? Naku is here? Luo Feng opened his eyes. Naku, cloud level number 892. Luo Feng immediately communicated. When the father and son of the Na clan came to the Flying Cloud Pavilion, they were about to investigate where the mysterious Master Phone was staying when a voice rang in their head. Naku, cloud level number 892. Father, cloud level number 892. Naku said softly. How did you know? Neb looked at his son in surprise. Big Brother Feng's voice transmission is in my head. Naku said. Nabu, who was beside him, was secretly shocked. This mysterious expert phone was really terrifying. They had yet to see each other and he already knew they had arrived. Go. Nabu and Naku entered the inner part of the Flying Cloud Pavilion. Although the cloud level region forbids outsiders from entering, the Na family was a local tyrant and easily got people to lead the way. When the two of them arrived at Luo Feng's residence, they saw a man dressed in black armor standing in the courtyard. Big brother Feng. Naka shouted. Nabu pays his respects to Lord Feng. Thank you Lord Feng for saving my son's life. The silver-haired Nabu bowed respectfully. Come in. Luo Feng smiled. In the living room, Luo Feng and Nabu sat down. Naka stood beside his father. Lord Feng, yesterday if it wasn't for you, my son would have lost his little life. Nabu sighed. Just last night the entire Yu family was uprooted. Yu family is also a family with deep roots, but because of one wrong step, the foundation of the family was destroyed in a single night. Yesterday even my son was involved. Just thinking about it gives me lingering fear. Uprooted? Luo Feng frowned. I just received accurate news. Nabu exclaimed and shook his head. This time the Yu family actually borrowed a huge amount of money. Through secret channels they managed to get an armor from the ancient god ruins. It was a pity their team was destroyed yesterday. I heard the armor was stolen too. The Yu family had no way to repay the debt, much less the interest. Hence, those lenders in a fit of rage killed the Yu family and stole their assets. Even then they still couldn't repay the debt. What kind of place is the ancient god ruins? Is a set of armor that important? Luo Feng asked. Lord Feng doesn't know? Nabu was shocked. Big brother Feng, I've heard of the ancient god ruins. Naka smiled. I only know it's an ancient battlefield, a huge ancient battlefield. Luo Feng said casually. I'm just curious, why is a set of armor from the ancient battlefield so valuable? From the general knowledge books from the 13-axis space rings, Luo Feng understood some of the special places and basic information of Blood River World. There were very few books on the ancient god ruins. Ancient god ruins, a diameter of 100 billion kilometers. It could be said to be boundless, an ancient battlefield. The books didn't have much information about it. Nabu smiled. This ancient god ruins, most people only know that it's an ancient battlefield. However, I'm a businessman. Through some special channels I've learned some secret information. I believe Lord Feng knows about the outsider races, right? I know. Luo Feng nodded. The outsider races are extremely strong, extremely powerful. Nabu exclaimed. In theory, any cloud-level warrior can break through the 18 cloud levels and fly into the space outside. But any expert who flies out of the void will be killed by the alien races living in the void. We have no way to enter space. However, luckily, it's very hard for the outsider races to descend. Nabu smiled. I heard that every time they descend, the price they pay is extremely huge. Luo Feng was stunned. Huge price? A very very long time ago, a very ancient period. Nabu exclaimed. Back then the strong of our Blood River continent were like the clouds even more than now. And back then, the outsider races descended. The terrifying warriors of the outsider races fought against the undyings of our continent in a god war. God war? Luo Feng blinked. Our Blood River continent suffered heavy losses. Many ancient undyings fell. However, even though the sacrifice was huge, we still chased the outsider races out. Nabu's eyes gleamed. Ever since that war the outsider races never had a large-scale descent again. And that ancient battlefield where the large numbers of undyings fought was called the ancient god ruins. Because that vast region was indeed a broken ruin. The youth Naka's eyes gleamed beside. Large numbers of undyings forming an army, the god armies fighting each other, it's really shocking. Luo Feng smiled. Ancient god ruins? Maybe there were indeed large numbers of undyings battling there. However, to say that the outsider races were defeated, that was too laughable. Not to mention others, the knights and universe country leaders of the virtual universe company, any one of them could easily destroy the entire Blood River world. The ancient god ruins have many special armors and weapons from the outsider races. There are also some armors and weapons from the fallen undyings. Even though these are broken, they are still very valuable. Nabu said. And the killing aura within the ancient god ruins is extremely heavy. Some warriors who enter, if their willpower is slightly weaker, would be invaded by the killing aura and go mad. However, there are still many who enter the ancient god ruins to search for the treasures of the undyings. Also, the stronger the killing aura, the easier it is for them to absorb the crystals. Hence, many warriors disregard the danger and enter the ancient god ruins. Nabu exclaimed. Anyway, the ancient god ruins is the most terrifying place and also the most mesmerizing. Countless warriors from our continent head in. Ah. Luo Feng frowned. Killing aura? Blood River crystals? The books he had read before said that the more one killed, the easier it was to absorb the crystals. And Nabu said that the stronger the killing aura, the easier it was to absorb the crystals. Hence, countless warriors head in. So killing is to make the killing aura stronger. Luo Feng thought. This Blood River crystal, just what kind of treasure is it? Why is it easier for people with heavy killing auras to absorb it? Ancient god ruins. If I get more crystals, even if I can't absorb it, I can still go to the ancient god ruins and try. Luo Feng thought. The Na father and son's arrival made Luo Feng's mood very good. Because he knew some information about the ancient god ruins, this was related to whether or not he could become a blood warrior. Flying Cloud Pavilion, Luo Feng's residence. Luo Feng held a book and sat on the second-level railing reading. Simultaneously, he split a thread of his consciousness to connect to the virtual universe network. Even though he was currently in the middle of a training mission, it didn't clash with studying the origin laws and studying Yuxiang Mountain Absolute Beginning Region, Wuka's Villa. Rongjun, Luo Feng, I heard the two of you have begun your training missions. Wuka looked at them, What level have you chosen? Difficult level. Rongjun said. LuoFeng, what about you? Wuka looked at LuoFeng. Rongjun too. Dangerous level. LuoFeng said. This immediately shocked Wuka and Rongjun. Wuka stared wide-eyed. LuoFeng, this is your first time taking a mission and you're choosing the dangerous level? That's too dangerous. It's very dangerous, I'm already in a little trouble. LuoFeng was helpless. I don't even dare be careless on this difficult level. Madman, you're really crazy. Rongjun smiled and shook his head. A thread of his consciousness was in the virtual universe network, while his body was in Swallow Mound City on Blood River World, preparing to deal with the Pure Feather family leader. Firstly, he had to understand what the leader looked like and confirm his identity. Next, he had to understand the situation within the Pure Feather family's residence. No problem. Luo Feng shook his head. I'm leaving. I have something important to do today, I can't be distracted. Good luck. Wuka said. Don't lose your life on this mission. Rongjun reminded. Relax. Luo Feng shook his head and smiled, after which he vanished, leaving the virtual universe network. Blood River World, Swallow Mound City night. After 6 days of careful investigation and ample preparation, Luo Feng became a gust of wind and silently left the Flying Cloud Pavilion. After a while, he arrived at an extremely luxurious mansion that occupied an area of 10 kilometers. It was also a mansion that was second only to the city leader's mansion. Pure Feather family. The air trembled, a silhouette appeared outside the walls of the mansion. It was Luo Feng.